The Adventures of Dino Danger, a compilation of stories based on the politically incorrect life and times of Dino Danger. Hi, I'm Dino Danger, fleet of finger, singer of songs, champion of justice, and admirer of babes in tight skirts. Wherever there's a song to be sung or a guitar to be played, I'll be there. Wherever there's a cause to fight for, a shot of tequila to be drank, I'll be there. Some names have been changed or omitted to protect the guilty. Copyright 2013, Danger Press. Dedication. Dedicated to all the musicians, friends, wives, ex-girlfriends, and family members that have made all these stories possible. I couldn't have lived and survived these moments without you. Oh, and fuck you to all the agents, managers, and club owners who also made some of these stories possible. Prelude by Dean Pearl. The story of Dino Danger Pirelli. Danger is his middle name. As I walked into the bar, there were four guys gathered around one guy in the middle who was standing at the bar and tossing back shots of Jose Cuervo. From what I could immediately gather, the bet was that he couldn't drink 5 shots of gold in less than 5 minutes. As I walked up to this display with everyone cheering the drinker on, the bartender yelled with a stopwatch in his hand, 22 seconds, a new record. Small crowd cheered and patted the fellow on the back. I called the bartender over and asked him, did that guy just really drink 5 shots of tequila in 22 seconds? He sure did, he shot back. Does it all the time, but I believe this was his fastest yet. I looked at my watch and realized it was only 11:30 a.m. I was there to meet somebody who calls himself Dino Danger at noon, and I asked the bartender for a glass of iced tea. After all, it was Sunday, and even an old warhorse like me usually waits until at least mid-afternoon to have an alcoholic drink. As the bartender brought me back a tall, cool glass of iced tea, I remarked, I'm supposed to be meeting a guy here at noon named Dino Danger. Ever hear of him? Without hesitation, the bartender looked over to the group of drinkers and said, Hey, Dino, some guy's here to see you. As I looked over to see which one he was talking to, the guy who had just finished 5 shots of tequila in 22 seconds looked over at me and smiled. You must be Mr. Pearl, he said with a devilish grin. He quickly attempted to stand up and greet me and immediately caught himself with the bar's handrail as his legs appeared to be ready to fail him. He caught himself quite deftly and smiled as he said, I wasn't expecting you for another half hour yet. I thought I'd be fine by then. He wobbled over to where I was sitting and shook my hand firmly. So, who do you write for again? He queried. I'm just a freelance writer, I said in an assuring manner. I write for all different kinds of publications, from blogs to magazines. So why did you pick me to write about? He was struggling to stay on his bar stool as he swayed slowly back and forth, yet appeared amazingly coherent for someone who's just accomplished the drinking feat he did. Mr. Danger, may I call you Dino? I asked. No, I think I like Mr. Danger, he smiled back as I waited for him to say he was just kidding. But he didn't, so after an awkward hesitation I offered, Well, Mr. Danger, I was turned on to you by some friends of mine who are big fans of yours. Do you know a Janie or Tish? He slowly shook his head no, as he appeared to conjure up an image to go with the names. Have I slept with them? He asked with all seriousness. I wouldn't know, maybe. I don't know them well enough to know, and they didn't exactly say one way or the other. I stammered, stymied by the abruptness of his question. Anyway, I started Googling you, and it turns out you've had quite a history, I said, impressed. Are those Adventures of Dino Danger stories really true, or is it a mixture of fact and fiction? They're true, all right, he said almost regrettably, and those were just the stories I felt I could print. Here I should interject a bit of history about Mr. Dino Danger. He started playing in bands at age 12. He had his first record deal at the age of 14 with 2 songs he wrote while living in South Chicago, where he was born and raised. He moved with his family to Las Vegas when he was 16 and began a 30-year musical odyssey that would have him appearing in every seedy bar and upscale lounge from one end of Vegas to the other, while also touring coast to coast, playing everything from bars to concerts to hotel lounges. He's a musician. On his last album, he played every instrument himself. A writer, songs, stories, and even a novel. An actor, he has shot 2 TV pilots as a host, as well as a handful of commercials, including one that was played during the 1975 Super Bowl. And a comedian. He won the Gong Show on national TV in 1989. I'd heard he had a legendary reputation for drinking Jose Cuervo tequila, so I wasn't too shocked to realize that he was the one who was competing in the contest. So I guess you really do live up to your reputation for being a hearty tequila drinker, I pondered aloud. Are you kidding me? He said incredulously. If I actually drank as much as I let people believe, I'd be in a pickle jar right now. Not exactly sure what that euphemism meant. I just let him continue. Actually, I only drink at work, he assured me. Today was just an exception. I hardly ever drink at home. For example, I just like to be a little loose when I perform. Trouble is, I've been working a lot lately, so work is killing me. He laughed loudly at his own joke as I nodded and smiled. So, what is the legendary Mr. Danger up to these days? I queried. Well, I'm working on my second novel called The Day, and I'm writing some new songs for a forthcoming country album. A country album? I queried. Aren't you known as a rock and roller? Sure, he said confidently, but through the years I played all kinds of music, so it's only natural that my writing would reflect some different aspects of my musical odyssey. Well, you definitely have a lot of projects on your plate, I assured him. Where do you find the time? What else do I have to do? He asked as he excused himself to go to the bathroom. I don't know where he went or how he snuck out without me seeing him, but I waited 30 minutes before I went to check on him and realized he was just gone without a trace.